Hello and welcome to Multifamily Investing with Bob Biggins. I am Bob Biggins, and today we're going to talk about maintenance and capital improvements after the closing. After you've bought a property, what are you going to do after that? Well, the timing is quite good right now because yesterday I closed on a 14-unit property in a neighboring town, 14 two-bedroom, one baths, a four unit, and a 6-unit, all in one complex. And it was over $1.5 million asset. So it's a very expensive, very nice asset. It's a little high for price around these area, but I think in time it's going to be a very good asset for us. And really, this took 6 months to close, and since the 6 months that we've been under contract and evaluating the property, rents have gone up $600 or $700. So at a cap rate of 7.5%, it's already raised the value by about $100,000. So it's going to be a good place for us, but just took over ownership of that yesterday. So how appropriate that we're going to talk about maintenance and capital projects after the close. And so based on the asset that you've bought, is it in good shape, not so good shape, fixer-upper, old, new, like really old, like 1900, or is it maybe a 2000? It could be a 120-year swing on the age of the property. And that would determine a good amount of what you have to do for maintenance and things after closing. In Southwest Michigan, there's pretty much very few newer properties, meaning A-class, built 2015 to 2025, we'll say. There's some B-class that are built late 80s, probably 90s to 2010 or 15, and then the rest are C-class, which is what's going to be the majority of things around here, built in the 70s, or in some of the towns along the lakeshore here, built in the 1900s, 1910, 1920s. So we'll be talking about a lot of C-class here because that's probably what I'm just guessing, that's probably 80% of the multifamily that gets bought, even from a duplex all the way up to a 100-unit, primarily C-class and probably mostly older units. Now, if it is a C-class, you're going to want to count on a much higher budget to do your improvements, potentially intrusive repairs such as water supply, maybe galvanized, drain pipes, maybe cast iron, you want to go to PVC, electrical may not be up to code and you need to put new grounded Romex in there, or new electrical panels inside and or out, and with a new disconnect outside, but a new panel on the inside. And are things level, plumb, straight, floors, walls, ceilings, just structural things. Those are quite expensive things that need to be done, but you want to address those right away if you're dealing with inside projects on the get-go as you start moving forward on these C-class assets. But if you can, when you close, depending on the time of year you close, say March to November or April to October, the warmer months, you're going to want to target the outside stuff. Get that stuff out of the way because you only have so many decent months to do your outside things, and then target the inside projects in more the colder months. So on the outside, plus you're going to want to show the residents that you've just taken over. You're going to spend some money on the place. You're going to make their place a better place to live, and you're going to drive value. You're going to do things that are generally pretty simple. Tree work, take down old dead trees that are hanging over the roofs. Your roofs want sunshine, your roofs want to breathe, and so they can't do that when they're always under shade or under moss or leaves or anything like that. So cut those trees back. It'll expose your sign if you have a sign on the property. Landscaping goes a long way. Clean things up, get the excess out, especially if it's around the entryways and around the perimeter of the building. clean things up. Generally, less is more. Parking lot. Parking lots are a good place to spend some money when you first buy, because it's very apparent that you've put money into it. It could be a nice fresh blacktop, either sealing it or taking off a few inches and putting new blacktop down. New yellow or white stripes goes a long way and shows the residents that, wow, he's really putting the energy and effort and money into this place. That goes a long way with, and as well as exterior facade, painting, pressure washing, just general cleaning, pressure washing treated surfaces, staining treated surfaces, decks, painting buildings, painting trim, wrapping trim, all things that are great things to do when you first buy a property, to let the folks know that there's a new sheriff in town and you're going to make it a really nice asset for them if it has not been kept up real good over the years that they've been there. And I can honestly say I've never bought an asset, and I've bought, I'm up to 84 doors now. I've never bought one that's been up to the standard where I like to bring my places to. So you're going to find work to do in almost any asset you buy, unless it's really, really a turnkey that somebody really, really put the money, time, and effort into over the years. Fencing's a big one. You don't want to have trees and vines all over the fence. You want to pressure wash the fence. The fence is flopping all over. Cut the 4x4s out, put the new 4x4s in, just rip the fence out if necessary, and have no fence if it's that bad, or put a new fence back up again. And then just really general cleanup outside, washing windows, sweeping up, no cigarette butts all over the place, and just that type of thing will show the residents that you want to have a nice, very clean place to live. Interior. Now, if you're done with the exterior, or if you have some interiors that come open when you buy, then you got to make the decision when you're doing interiors, rather, if you're going to take and do them in blocks. Like for me, I could say there's a 4-unit, 6-unit, this 4-unit on this date. We're going to have, especially if they're month-to-month leases. You can't really do it if they're annual leases, because people might be moving out in 8 months or 9 months or 3 months. But if they're month to month, you can say, here's 60 days notice, everyone move out, and then you go in and remodel all 4 units at the same time. Now you get economies of scale, and you have similarity. Everything's going to be the same, probably the same toilets, the same floors, the same faucets, the same everything. But what you better have also is a lot of cash, because you're going to run into things that you did not anticipate, and it's going to take a lot more cash than you generally figure it's going to take. So have construction loans available, have your own cash available, have syndication funds available. If you're not sure what a syndication is, look it up or give me a call. We can walk through that. Or have partners, have JVs, joint ventures with partners that you can draw on for cash. By doing it that way, sometimes you can beat your rent projections. Say after 3 years we anticipate to be here, 5 years we anticipate to be here, but you may get to year 3 projections after the first 6 months if you do something like that. It's a lot harder, but it can be a lot better at the end. When you're done, it's like, oh, I'm done. What I usually do is, as people move out, then we go in and remodel them. Like my 10-unit in Paw Paw, Michigan, has been, we've got 8 units done after it's been about 2.5 years. Last summer, actually 5 or 6 came open, and we were boom, 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 knocking a bunch of them out. And then we've had stragglers, dogs, and cats a little before and after that. So there's 2 more to do yet, because the people still live there, and as long as they pay and they're good, I'm fine with leaving them there. That's fine. But when they move out, then we'll remodel, put new showers in, new flooring, potentially new cabinets, or paint the cabinets, and just do what we do over there. When you're doing the remodels after people move out, then you are a lot better on cash flow, because you're preserving your cash while they're living there, and you only have 1 or 2 maybe open at a time, compared to 4, 5, 6, or 8, depending on the scale of the project that you're taking over. And so you have money coming in, and you've got less going out because you're only doing one or two versus several at the same time. So it's easier on the cash flow if you're maybe a newer investor. Now let's talk about some interior remodels on just things I've learned, where to spend money, where not to spend money, how to save money, just some tips and tricks that have done me well over the last 30 years. First and foremost, attack the structural things first. Start from the bottom and work your way up. I can't tell you how many people I've found that they've got beautiful tile, beautiful flooring, and they're complaining that there's water in the basement. Or I can see the building is sloping outside, and I said, it's a beautiful place inside. I saw the pictures. The windows are all rotted on the outside, or I can see a smile in the roof line. You're going to want to get in and, like, when you're into an interior like that, go in and maybe jack up the trusses or level the floors out or get the water out of the basement or do a waterproofing on the basement, especially if it's in that unit. Get the structural, get the hard stuff, non-level floors, level the floors out. If you need to put a beam across and jack up both ends of the beam and level out the center that maybe in 1920 it wasn't built with 2x12s like it should have been. It was built with 2x6s, and the floor is just sloping in the center. So add a beam in the center and lift that up to level it out a little bit better. It may not be perfect, but it'll be a lot better when you start. Get those structural things out of the way first, because then you can move on to the more facade things after that. Painting is still the #1 return on investment. Painting used to be very cheap. The paint was cheap. The labor was fairly inexpensive, and it was a really good value. Today, the paint's gotten more expensive and the labor's gotten more expensive, but still painting is the #1 return. And people love to smell that fresh paint smell, see everything fresh and crisp. A lot of people just paint walls and maybe trim. Always paint your ceilings. You don't realize, but the ceilings, that's where all the bad air goes up there, and any smoke or any food or any type of dust that wants to resonate to the top, it sticks to your ceiling. Take your ceiling paint and run 1 or 2 swipes across there. Even if that ceiling was painted 3 or 4 years ago, you'll be astounded at how much it brightens up your place. So always do the ceilings first. And then some people do trim and then wall, some people do wall then trim. So do whichever way you feel. My painter, I've got a professional painter on staff. He's fantastic, and he always goes ceiling, trim, then walls. But I'm sure other people do it in different ways, but that's how he does it, and he's terrific. But painting's #1 return. Flooring, buy hardy flooring. If you have, say you've got a building on a slab, I wouldn't be hesitant to put ceramic tile on that floor, because that floor is not going to move. You put ceramic tile on a second floor or third floor, there could be movement, there could be cracking, even if you have cement board on there. Even if you put liquid nails on there, even if you put thin set on there, there's a good potential there's movement, especially if you have bigger tiles. And it could, over time, could crack. And I really like putting ceramic tile in basements on concrete surfaces, because then they're just super rigid. And the floor is level to start with generally, and the thin set will level things out as well. And so you've got a good solid base to do tile like that. But small areas, bathrooms, and the larger the tile you use, like if you use a 12 by 24, it's going to be more likely to break or move than, say, a 6 by 6 or an 8 by 8. The smaller the tile, usually the more forgiving it is to any bouncy floor. Just as a side note, luxury vinyl tile, LVP. Get the best wear layer you can for the dollar, the thickest you can for the dollar. I use Mannington and Duramax. It's been up to $6 a square foot during COVID. Now it's down to maybe $4 a square foot, but I just got a nice sale at $243 a square foot on Wayfair. Wayfair is where I got that at. It was a great buy, free shipping. But that was, and the big boxes have them, but just make sure that there's no fibrous, like cardboard, wooden fibers in there, because if any tenant drops water or milk or ice cream or anything on there and they don't clean it up right away, then it's going to permeate between any cracks that it can find, and it's going to expand that wood and they're going to bubble it up. And I just had a place like that. There was a floor was that type of floor when I bought it, and it's given me a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. So eventually I'll have to take that up and put all solid waterproof flooring, not water resistant, waterproof. And as long as it's put together well and it's allowed to float, it's not clamped down by cabinets or huge gun safe or anything, then it should float, and it really should stay together and not open up for you. And then carpeting. Carpeting is a nice option, especially if you put carpeting in and you got the first person. Usually if we put carpeting in and I put a person in there, they're usually there for like 5 years because they know they're the first ones on that brand new carpet and they don't want to go to a place that has used carpet. And they move in, and just what I've seen over the years is they usually turn into be long-term tenants because they've got, I don't know if it's the carpet, but they have brand new carpet and it's usually new appliances and new everything, and they just stay. They're very happy in their place and they stay. Receptacles, switches and angle stops. Have your electrician or your handy person change out your receps and switches. That's always very nice. That way you don't have broken tines in there, or your switches aren't loose, or they're not click, or they're the wrong color, or they're loose in the box, or the box itself is loose. There could be all kinds of problems. So dress those up. That's a small but very nice thing when a person walks through to see those fresh and clean and shiny receptacles, switches, and cover plates on there. And the angle stops. I think every place I've bought, every place, under the sink, in the vanity, the kitchen sink, and the toilet, the shut-off valves, the angle stops, the little quarter-turn valves, or they could be old style or needle valves. Needle goes in and they seat off. They got to turn them many times, and then those leak oftentimes, and they never seal all the way. They seal partially, and then the water comes out of the flexible line, and it's just not good. So change those out. That way, if a tenant has a problem, they crawl into the sink, click, quarter turn, shuts the water off. So it prevents any big problems. And that's money well spent, whether it's galvanized plumbing, brass plumbing, nipples, copper plumbing, PEX plumbing, galvanized plumbing, no matter what it is. Try to have good shut-off valves in the units for the people, even in the basement as well. Cabinets, you can find lots of videos on how to do cabinets right. I never think I'm not a pro. My painter is extremely good at cabinets, makes them look terrific. We probably get new cabinets one out of every 6 or 7 turns, 6 or 7 properties we turn, and usually we'll just paint them. And once you paint them and you've got everything else looking really good, and they're decent shape, and you get new pulls, new hardware, new hinges, they look really good. And oftentimes people don't really even notice that they're older. So painting can save money, short of taking them out and leveling them back out, and then you've got unlevel floors, and you got to shim them up, and you've got to fit those back in, and sometimes you got to assemble them yourself. So having new cabinets is great. Don't get me wrong, but they're more of pretty labor intensive. Now you can use your old counter or cabinets if you put on, especially a new countertop. Generally, we'll go with laminate countertops. Sometimes on high-end places, we'll go granite, but laminate countertops, for $100, you can get the marble-looking ones, Carrera marble ones at Menards, and they're a good amount of labor because you got to cut them to size, and you have to put the end caps on and then router the end caps and clean them up. And if you got a 45 degree in a corner, you've got to draw them together, glue them real good, and so it's not perfect. You can buy laminate cabinets, but if you ever do that, full countertops rather, from a company, you might as well get granite because it's going to be almost the same price. So just go with a hard surface of granite or quartz if you're going to pay for someone else to do your laminate. Appliances, they're generally easy. You don't have to really do anything. Take the old out, put the new in. Might as well have them delivered for the most part because it's really not worth the energy, especially have them all delivered at the same time. Stove, fridge, dishwasher, an overstove microwave. It's money saved to have them delivered. I try to go with stainless if possible, and maybe mix stainless and black. White is what I did years ago because I didn't have much money to go stainless. And really, when I first started, there wasn't even any stainless in the 90s. So, but today I like stainless, and I'll go black and mix black with stainless. That goes well. Black and white doesn't go so well. Stainless and white goes okay, but black and stainless or stainless goes really well. And I think it's worth the money because tenants just see such a high end. And if you shop real well, you're only going to spend an extra $100 or so per appliance for stainless. So for an extra $300-400, you get all stainless. And it's worth it. Overstove microwave and dishwasher. Many of the 70s and 60s and 50s product don't have a dishwasher or overstove microwave. Overstove microwave, they're $200, $250, but you need to have a designated 20 amp circuit, 20 amp breaker, and have a 12-2 with a ground line ran for the plug-in with a 12-inch cabinet above generally. A 15 will be too large and your microwave will sit down too low, most likely, but you have a 12-inch cabinet above, and then tuck your microwave in there and you put a receptacle up in the 12-inch cabinet. So you need to have a new breaker in your box. And if you don't have breaker slots available, you can do a tandem breaker. You do a 20 amp, and then whatever breaker that you've replaced, that you took the slot of. And your electrician or potentially handy person can do that for you. But that'll usually net you $25 to $50 a month more in rent is to have an overstove microwave, because you don't have the clutter on the cabinets. And we try to do that on everyone, have an overstove microwave, just because people like it so much. It's just so much handier. Plus you've got an exhaust fan there, and if they go bad, chuck them, put a new one in there for $200. It's money well spent. And then dishwasher, we've been really trying to do more dishwashers because customers really like them. They're usually worth about $50 a month, dishwashers. If you've got a cabinet pulls, like 2 cabinets, and they're 18 inches, or if you've got a cabinet that's 24 inches, you can put an 18-inch or a 24-inch dishwasher in there, and you just open that up, slide the dishwasher in, change your drain, take your supply for your hot, and put a double valve on there as opposed to a single valve, and run your flexible line over, level everything out, tie the dishwasher into your cabinets. It's really not that tough, and we've been doing many of them because people just like them. And it's definitely helped our NOI out on places by doing that. And it's 18-inch dishwashers you can get for $400. Any dishwasher you get for $400 to $500 stainless. Make sure when you get a dishwasher, you always get a stainless steel inside basin. Don't ever get a plastic one because they're noisy and they're more likely to leak, and they will not last as long. So always get a stainless steel inside of your dishwasher. Spend the extra money, it's worth it. Doors. I like getting new doors, cabinet doors and pantry doors and bedroom, bathroom doors, interior doors. They're very nice, but you can get by usually just painting them, cleaning them up, sometimes putting new hinges on them. But when you do spend the money and do new doors also, it's really a nice touch. If you're good at doing doors, or you have a carpenter who's good at doing doors, or you can get some quite inexpensive doors, it's a nice touch. If you can do it. And there's several other items to discuss. Call me or inquire anytime to discuss more about it at 269-849-6648, 269-849-6648. Really everything you do is to drive value into the property and preserve the building, structure, and enhance the tenant, the resident experience. Because your tenants, they are your customers. They're like gold. Treat them such. Make their places as nice as you can. Make it the best value you can for them. And As I come to a close, please subscribe if you haven't already. We're up to almost 100 subscribers. We've got almost 1,400 views so far in 2 months, so I'm pretty happy. I think we're doing quite well. Some of our videos now are getting up into the couple hundred views, so I'm really happy. Leave a comment. I've kind of got construction videos and I've got multifamily videos. Leave me comments. Type in a comment, say I like this kind better, I want to see more of this or more of that, because we've got our first night video right now because I've been working all day and I haven't had time to do a video in a while, so I had to mock up a little studio here with some backlighting because I usually use the outdoor lighting as my light, but I had to mock something up because we're doing projects during the day. So let me know what you like better. The views came through more on projects than talking about multifamily, but you gotta have both. You gotta know what you're doing when you're buying and selling, transacting, and you gotta know what you're doing with your asset, or at least be able to coach your contractor what you want. Because if you don't know what you want and you don't know what to tell them, then you'll learn, but it's gonna cost you a lot of money. So please subscribe, and don't be a stranger. Reach out if you're going to sell any properties in Michigan, especially Western Michigan. I'm an ERA agent. My wife's an ERA agent, ERA Realty, and I can be reached at bob.biggins@erareardon.com. That's bob.biggins@erareardon.com. And thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Have a good night.